this first Turbo Tuesday Mini Masterclass. And that is presented by me, Vicky Powell, the Retail Business Queen. And I want to say hello to everybody. This is the first one I have done based on the feedback in the group and the poll that everybody commented on and said what kind of stuff they wanted advice on. So I thought, right, off we go. Let's do a little mini masterclass. It won't take up hours of your time. It's me turbocharging through some top tips, some advice, and today we're going to be talking about social media. So if you don't know who I am, or you're thinking, who the heck is this woman jumping on live in this group? This is my group. I formed this group. My name is Vicky Powell. I am a former retail buyer, head of buying, head of trading for some big retailers like Matalan, Home Bargains, Pound Stretcher, Liverpool Football Club, and the BBC Children in Need, and Carfest. So I have worked in buying in retail for about 22, 23 years, and about 3-4 years ago decided I'd had enough and wanted to run my own retail business, and also to work and support small businesses as well, teach them everything that I know and how to grow their sales and work more efficiently, and really, understand retail and trade as best they can. I don't want to keep seeing these failed retail statistics. I want the high street to thrive. I want entrepreneurs to thrive, particularly women, because we are juggling an awful lot. And I just love product. I love retail. I love product. So that is why I am here. I love working with small retailers. I do training, I do one-to-one work, I've got my VIP membership club, and I do project work and mentoring as well. So that is my career history in a nutshell. So let's get on with some social media and social media growth. And it is a real big common topic at the moment. We did a Facebook Live challenge over in the VIP club, and I've created a free resource about social media topics, which I will tell you about later. But yeah, we are all on social media. We are all using social media as one of our key marketing tools. So it's super, super important that we do get it right, and that we do generate some sales from that as well. Otherwise, we are going to all this work, putting all these posts together, videos, engagement and all this, and if we don't get any sales, then it's all been pointless. So that is what our main goal is. And social media is exactly that, social. It is all about conversations, it's about engagement, it's about sharing, it's about communicating and building up a rapport with your customer or potential customer. It's not really a forum to go on and do the hard sell, to post a picture of a product and run. We all hate those in our news feeds, and very often we end up unliking that page, and it doesn't turn into a sale. So I find that I buy from businesses that I know about, I understand, I'm interested in their product, I know that there is a real person sat behind the screen, and I like to know that that business knows me and knows what I like and is talking to me. I can resonate with them, and they're the types of businesses that I want to give my money to. So first things first, it's all about understanding your audience. It's about understanding their age, the sex, whether male or female, kind of the language, if they are predominantly English speaking or English understanding, their lifestyle, whether they've got children, whether they are active, whether they work, whether they are retired, whatever it is that you need them to be to target to them. What else do they like? Do they enjoy the outdoors? Do they like music? Do they like modern things? Do they like traditional things? Do they like vintage things? Which retailers do they like? Because the John Lewis customer is very different to the B&M Bargains customer. The Smiggle customer is very different to the W.H. Smith customer. The Tony and Guy customer is very different to Julie's Crazy Cuts hairdressers on the corner of the village. And it is about understanding who that customer is, or if you haven't got a particularly big customer base, it's about deciding what kind of a customer you want to target and you want to sell to, and who fit your products. Without knowing all that, then it's very easy for us to get the tone of voice wrong, to get the type of post wrong, and to get the products wrong, really. The two need to match up. You need to have your product matched with the target customer, or the right customer. So take a little time to really think about who it is that you want to sell to, or who your existing customers already are. It helps to visualize that customer. You've got hundreds of customers, thousands of customers maybe, but it helps to visualize one or two people. It might be similar to, your Auntie Jane that you know, or your next door neighbor. And I find it's easier to visualize them when I'm putting together posts or newsletters or any kind of marketing. I can see them in my mind. I can put myself in their shoes and understand and think about what kind of stuff they want to hear from me. So getting that right is essential, and you can find out what your current audience looks like from the insights on your Facebook page and Instagram as well. If you go into the app, it gives you a snapshot of your audience. If you go into it on laptop or computer, it gives you a little bit more comprehensive details. But that is a good starting point for some key information. It will tell you age, demographics, sex, location, and the time of day that they are on social media as well. So that makes it easy for you to post at the right times. So the next thing is all of your posts, all of your content, everything that you do on social media should be for them. If you've got very young audience, they may not be on Facebook. They may be more on Snapchat, on Pinterest, on Instagram. If you've got a slightly older audience, they've never heard of Snapchat and they don't really do Instagram. They like to use Facebook. So it's important that you are on the right platform for your audience, and that the content and the time that you post and the tone of voice is all suited to them. So you can't get all that right without knowing who that audience is. Then, excuse me, then on to content. So the main piece of advice on content is to mix it up, is to make sure that you do a combination of images, of text, of video, of lives if you can, of group shots of product, of stylized images, of images of your products in different situations, model, no model, flat lays, whatever. But it's a good variety. So if somebody new lands on your page, you want them to be able to scroll through and really get a good feel for what you sell and your business within a couple of finger swipes. You don't want them to be swiping down forever until they actually see a product, or they see a video, or they see you. So mixing it up is absolutely essential. So we mix it, but we are also consistent. So we consistently post something every single day. That can be scheduled. I use Facebook's own tool. I don't use an external app or anything. I use Facebook's tool. But you can schedule as far ahead. I think it might be 6 months or so that you can schedule. But it's important to post on a daily basis. Lots of people will say, the more you post, the better. I find doing at least one per day is adequate. If I can get any more in, that's great. If I don't see anything or do anything ad hoc throughout the day, I will add that to my pre-scheduled content. But I show up on Facebook every single day, and I do a mix of shared content. It might be articles, it might be shared stuff on Facebook. I do my own lives, I do some pre-records, I do memes, I do text only, I share links. So I do do a good cross-reference, and as a retailer then it's important that it isn't all just your product with every single post. So we need to mix it up. When you do excuse me, when you do post about product, advice to clients is to focus on one product at a time. When we post group shots of very different items, it can get very confusing to the customer. It's difficult to add a link because you don't know which link to post. If you are connected to a Facebook shop, lots of little pop-ups will come up with your links. But I find that it's much easier and much more powerful and targeted if you focus on one product at a time, or a range of products, but they need to be from the same range. So if you sell crockery, you might want to focus on a mug, or if something like, careful with my tea, you've got this mug, but also you have other accessories in the same design. So you might have placemats, coasters, tea towels, oven glove, then that is fine, because it's all part of the same range. It's aimed at the same type of customer. It's the same design. There is a connection. But if you post that mug with, say, that water bottle and a pen, it can be quite confusing for the customer. They don't know where to go. They see something, go, I don't understand the connection. I don't really understand, why they're all sitting together. You can do it as a collage, and you could pull them all together as gifts under £10, or gifts for your new home, or something like that. But that's the only way to connect sort of random products together, is by price point, or if they are suitable for a particular event or occasion, or house move, new baby, whatever that might be. So make sure there is something to pull your collection of products together. If there isn't, focus on one thing at a time. And if you can, when you are talking about that particular product, make sure that you add a bit of interest to it. So give a little bit of information. So tell them, how you found that supplier, or if you make it yourself, the background to the fabrics, or how long it takes, or a little bit of insight into the type of stitching. If anyone has used it and giving you incredible feedback, then share that. If you used it yourself, you bought it from somewhere else, and then you were like, I absolutely need to put this in my shop, talk to them about that as well. If your child uses it and you want to take a picture and share that, then it's good to talk about that. So it's much more interesting than just literally showing the product and that is it. It's much more interesting if there is a bit of history, a bit of story, a bit of something that the customer might connect with. So if you say that you were visiting a trade show, and the guy on the stand stopped and offered you a fruit pastel, and you ended up having a conversation, and you realise you live in the next town to each other, and he has these gorgeous items that he sources from Belgium or whatever, and there is a story behind that. Your customers will find that interesting. They love to hear things that are behind the scenes. They love to hear, how did you find that? How did you make that? How did you come up with that idea? They just are super nosy, and that's the advantage of small businesses. You won't find John Lewis or M&S talking about that, although they do a little bit with, like, when they're talking about sustainable products and eco products, they do feature the fisherman, or the Lidl did one about the wine, where the customer said, I bet it's cheap wine, and they took her to the vineyard. So they are starting to get a little bit of background. But us as small businesses, small retailers, we can absolutely share those stories because they've happened to us, and there are stories to tell. So that is a huge advantage. Another big point about sharing your product is always add the price, whether that is the price attached to the image. It's you created a nice image and you put it in the corner, or a flash, or you're adding some text to your post and talking about it and adding the link. Always put the price. I have lost count with the amount of times I've spotted somebody's Facebook post and thought there's no price on there, and then I've gone onto comments, and all the comments are, how much is this, how much is this, how much is this, hun? And the person has gone, we'll PM you, we'll message you. Why are you messaging? Why are you creating another stage in the buying chain to you're just putting another obstacle in your way and their way. If you put the price there and the price isn't for them, it's out of their budget, then so be it. They were never going to buy it anyway once they've messaged you. But if you put the price on there and it's, they think, oh yeah, that's okay, they will click on the link. They won't take it to the next step. If you don't put that step in there, all you're doing is creating another stage in the buying process, and potentially another reason to lose that customer, for the customer to go away because they haven't got time to be messaging you. They've moved on to something else. The boss has turned up at the desk and they have to come off Facebook, and it's gone. It's forgotten about. You've lost them. So always put your prices on there. What are you afraid of? Why are you nervous about pricing? And if you are, then we need to talk. We need some training about understanding your price points, explaining the value of your product, of benchmarking against your competitors. And if you've done all that and you are super confident that your product is value for money and it's at the right price, then shout to the world about it. Don't give the customers a reason to disappear. What else have we got? Other quick tips. Customers also love content like behind the scenes, stock arriving, you unpacking boxes, you making product. Again, as I said earlier, they are super nosy and they love to see what is going on from wherever you work and be the first to see your brand new stocks. That's a really good one. Communication posts. So as well as talking about your product, it's also good to talk about your business. So talk about you, talk about a member of staff that you've got, to communicate with them about opening hours, last order dates, gift wrap, terms and conditions, your refund policy, any special offers that you've got, late night opening, any events that you're going to. They can all create really good posts if you do it in a conversational, chatty way. If you do personalization, you might want to talk about the process and how easy it is to order from you and how quickly you can turn around an order. But you need to communicate all of this because we are targeting people on social media because they haven't found us on the website. We want to use this as the first step in the funnel, and then we want to get them onto our website, or we want to get them into our Facebook shop or onto our Etsy shop. So if we keep giving them little bits of information about opening hours and order dates and turnaround times, then it sparks their interest. You're giving them the full picture, and then when they click, they know that item will be delivered in 3 or 4 days. They know that they've got the option of getting it gift wrapped, and they've got the full picture. So always communicate with them. Always reply to comments that they customers make on your posts. Try and do it as soon after they've commented as possible, but it's always good to reply, thanks for your feedback, or thanks for tagging in your friend, hope you enjoy my products. If they ask you a question, respond to the question. If it's love your stuff, reply with thank you, I love it too, and just start off that conversation. It doesn't need to be the hard sell. It needs to just be a little bit of conversation, and having that extra step in the engagement on your page means that, again, you are more likely to rise up onto that customer's feed, Facebook feed, and be visible to them. And also, anybody that has interacted with a post, whether that is a like or a comment, you can go into that post, and when you look at the number of likes and the little bubbles, the ha bubble, the heart bubble, if you click on that, it will show you all the people who have done an emoji. And if they don't already like your page, you can invite them to like your page, and that is a really good tool, particularly if you do a high engagement post. You get people tagging people in. Competitions are really good for that. Silly posts like asking for a gift, or what is your elf name, or your unicorn name, or any silly videos. You get lots of interaction on things like that, and they don't have anything to do with your business, but they are good once in a while for getting some engagement up. And so again, when you've posted that, give it a few hours, look at the engagement, click on the emojis to see who has interacted, and if they don't already like your page, then invite them to like your page. And that is another way of getting your numbers up. So believe it or not, that was 10 top tips in over 10 minutes. I didn't quite make it to the 10 minutes, but there's absolutely loads to be getting on with on social media. We should never be short of content to post. We should never be short of ideas and ways of communicating with our audience, and that's what it's all about. The more that you can go live, the better. the more that you can mix up your content, the better, and the more consistent that you can be, the better. So I hope you found those useful for this first Turbo Tuesday. I also want to share with you that I have a social media challenge, which is 30, I think it's 31 post ideas for you to do every day over the next month. And it's a free resource, it's a tracker sheet, it's a bit of information on types of posts, and it's perfect for retail businesses. It's lots of ideas. It's along the lines of the Meet the Maker challenge, but this one is geared up to not just craft businesses, to any kind of retail business. So it's 31 ideas for different types of content and posts that you can put onto your social media feed over the next month, and that is to start at the beginning of April. I will pop the link on this this video so you can sign up to it, and we can get raising your engagement and your social media numbers. So I hope you all have a fabulous day. Hope the sun is shining where you are. It is here, although it's still a little bit cold. Any questions, just tag me in at the group, and I will speak to you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.